Hi everyone, our topic is all about causes of mental illness. So, first, let's define what is mental illness. Mental illness, also referred to mental health disorder, it is a medical condition that affects a person's thinking, mood, emotion, or behavior. This condition can be chronic, debilitating, and even life threatening if left untreated. And also, it can impact a person's ability to function in their daily lives. Let's move on to the causes of mental illness. For your information, everyone, mental illness has no single cause, but there are so many factors that can contribute to this illness. One of the factors is the social factors. It refers to the external influences and conditions that affect an individual's behavior, well-being, and mental health. So, this factor include the poverty, discrimination, relationship, and lack of social support. Under this social factor is the social media, excessive use, cyberbullying, or online harassment. For example, here is receiving threats from the strangers in the social media and any social media platforms. The second one is the cultural expectation, societal pressure, cultural norms, or expectation. The third one is the family dynamics, the pattern of interaction and relationship within a family, which significantly impact an individual mental health. The second factor is the medical factor. This factor can contribute to mental illness include biological, chronic physical condition, and substance abuse. The example of medical factor is the medical condition. Medical condition can be caused by a combination of genetics, environmental, and psychological factors. For example, before in your family has someone who have been diagnosed by mental illness. Another example is substance abuse, alcohol, drugs, or other substances. For example, here excessive use of alcohol might lead you to the mental illness, and also overdosing some drugs that are not prescribed by the doctor.
Environmental factors encompass external conditions and surroundings impacting an individual's behavior, health, and well-being. First, we have trauma, refers to the emotional, psychological, or physical harm caused by exposure to overwhelming stressful events. This can include environmental disasters, accidents, violence, or abuse. The impact of trauma can be significant and long-lasting, affecting mental and physical health. Next, stress. Stress involves various external factors that can negatively influence or worsen mental health issues. Sources of stress are numerous and include work pressures, relationship problems, financial difficulties, and major life changes. The third is social isolation. Social isolation is characterized by a lack of social interaction, connection, and support. This can lead to feelings of loneliness, depression, and anxiety. Impacting overall well-being, it's significant concern, particularly among older adults. The fourth is poverty. Poverty describes the complex relationship between a lack of financial resources and environmental conditions. Individuals experiencing poverty often live in environments with limited access to health care, nutritious foods, safe housing, and educational opportunities, further compounding their challenges. Biological factors. Biological factors are your body's physical and genetic makeup influencing your behavior and emotions. It's about your genes, brain chemistry, and brain structure. Genetics. Genetics traits passed down from your parents that influence who you are. Then we have brain chemistry, the balance of chemicals in your brain affecting your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Last, we have the brain structure, the physical makeup of your brain, how its parts are organized and connected.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, ma'am. Today, we will tackle psychological factors as one of three causes of mental illness. Psychological factors play a significant role in the development of mental illness, influencing how individuals think, feel, and behave. These are your thoughts, feelings, and experiences that can affect your mental health. They can make you more likely to develop a mental illness. Let's move on to the key psychological factors contributing to mental illness, including trauma, loss, social isolation, stress, discrimination, and negative thoughts. Trauma. Experiencing abuse, which includes physical, emotional, and sexual, and neglect or other traumatic events, particularly during childhood, can have a profound and long-lasting effects on mental health. The impact of trauma can manifest in various mental health conditions. Like for example, a child who is physically abused by a parent may develop post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD. They might have nightmares about the abuse, so be constantly on edge and avoid situations that remind them of their parents' violence. This trauma can also lead to trust issues in future relationships. Loss. The death of a loved one or other significant losses such as job, relationship, or home can trigger or worsen mental health challenges. Unresolved grief can lead to depression, anxiety, and other conditions. A common example of loss is the death of loved ones, especially those close to our hearts. Social isolation. A lack of meaningful social connection and limited interaction with others negatively impacts mental well-being. Social isolation increases the risk of depression, anxiety, and other mental health problems. Like for example, a student who transferred to another university or school that he or she is not familiar with and has difficulty making friends, they may start skipping school, have low self-esteem, and be at risk of developing anxiety or depression. Without a support network, they struggle to cope with the normal stresses of adolescence.